Well, here we are with another episode of the Gritty Hour, and I have my good friend Felice Manzi back again.
My pleasure.
How in the living hell are you?
I couldn't be better. If I was any better, I'd be you.
There you go. So what's new in the world?
My world or the world in general? My world, everything is copacetic. I think I'm fairly healthy.
Uh-huh.
I go to the doctors about 3 times a week. I go to the VA. They're very thorough, and I have appointments with doctors that I don't even know what they're for. But
You have appointments with doctors and they don't even tell you why?
well, they do, but I don't. Yesterday, I saw a hematologist, Indian fellow, awful nice man. And but I have to say the VA is very thorough and all nice people.
Yeah, much better than it used to be.
I don't know. I hear bad stories about the VA, but I have never experienced that. The minute you walk into Castle Point, somebody says, "Good morning. Can I help you? Where do you have to go? Do you know where your room is?" Everybody is helpful beyond belief. And I hear horror stories, and I don't believe them.
Well, your experiences should be the norm.
I don't know. Everybody that I talk to says the same thing. Everybody, it's like when you're at the VA, everybody has a common. Everybody's a veteran. Everybody says good morning to you. How are you? Sit down, talk. Everybody is. It's like when you go to a racetrack. Everybody's a gambler at the racetrack.
They can all commiserate with one another.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And that's how the VA is. And I can't say enough nice things. The doctor at the VA saved my life. A nurse practitioner.
How so?
Well, I had a test and she said you have a lot of protein in your system. That's not a good sign. She had me have a scan and they found out I had a mass on my bladder. All the time I was going to Caramount, they never found out. And this lady, it's not a doctor, she's a nurse practitioner, and she saved my life. Awful nice lady.
She noticed something that none of the doctors did.
Yeah, you have a lot of protein in urine. That's not normal, so we want to find out. So I had this scan. I forget the name. The scan that women have when they're pregnant.
Mammogram?
No, something like that. But anyway, they scan you, and they noticed a
sonogram.
Yeah. And they noticed a
telegram.
Telegram. Yeah. And they noticed a mass on my bladder.
Yeah. Well, you had it taken care of, and you're free and clear.
I'm cancer free. And I had another test. I had another scan the other day to check it, and the doctor said everything's fine. The doctor did your work, did an outstanding job. You're clean.
Well, I've been saying for years, in the medical sense, in some certain circumstances, the heck was that? What are you sitting on a duck? We're living in the age of miracles.
Absolutely.
In some medical situations.
Cut my cancer out without an incision. I think I told you I had the surgery at 6:30, but 9 o'clock I was home.
Wow. 30 years ago, you'd be not sitting here talking to me.
Correct.
Yes.
Sean, pay your goods.
Sean, I got to call you back. I'm busy, okay? I'm sorry.
I know it looks like on the camera I'm sitting to your right.
It does look like that.
But I'm physically sitting to your left. Just in case politics happens to come up in this conversation. I'm not too far to your left, though.
No. And
I see you have a book with you.
I have a book by Jason Chaffetz. A very good book about the deep state.
You want to hold it up to the camera so that people can see it? People that are watching us on YouTube. Yeah. The Puppeteers.
Puppeteers.
By Jason Chaffetz.
Yes. A very good book about.
He was a congressman at one time?
Yes. I think he didn't run again.
Okay.
He talks about, doesn't matter who's in the White House or who's in the Senate, these unelected bureaucrats are running this country. And 95% of them are donated to the Democratic Party. And my nephew works for the State Department. He says there's not another conservative that he knows of anywhere near him. He's going to Japan. He's going to be in Japan for the next 3 or 4 years, but he doesn't know any conservative. And he's always on the watch list. He's always being reported, basically, because he's a conservative.
They know he's a conservative?
Yes.
Hmm.
Smart kid. He speaks Japanese. He speaks Korean. Very awful bright young fella.
Hmm. So is that what this book is about?
This book is about what's called ESG, environment, society, social, and government. Nobody gets a contract unless they meet this criteria of the environment, society. If they don't have enough minorities on their board of directors, they don't get contracts.
Mhm.
And these people are making all these decisions, not anybody that's elected. Very scary.
Everybody on that cover looks like they were elected, though. You got Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, but these are the puppeteers.
Mhm. What is that? Adam Schiff,
Adam Schiff,
former Vice President Joe Biden.
Kamala Harris,
This guy,
Schumer,
and Kamala Harris.
and the Indian lady.
Well, I said Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, right. Pocahontas.
Uh-huh.
And very scary what they do. This is look at John Kerry is in Beijing making decisions. Who the fuck is John Kerry?
Mm.
Was he elected to anything? I think Bill Bennett called him the dumbest man in America.
There's a lot of contenders for that title.
There is.
Yeah.
Some
of them are elected.
The former vice president.
Well, some of them say they were elected. Yeah.
Yes. And you know, the goal is that Trump doesn't run, that they're afraid of him. And he's got China against him. He's got the FBI, the CIA, all these.
He's got the calendar against him too.
Yes.
Unlike our current president.
Right.
Yeah. Who's a young man.
Trump, they're going to charge him with sedition.
Uh-huh.
Now, you know that Jefferson Davis, president of the Confederacy,
Uh-huh.
he was never tried for treason or sedition.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think was more seditious or treasonous, the Civil War or January 6th?
Yeah.
They don't want him to run. China doesn't want him to run. That's not a theory.
Mm-hmm.
And Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg.
The Zuckerbucks.
The Zuck. Yeah.
I don't think that's
it's a cause of frustration, that's for sure, to anybody that's paying attention. It should be a cause of frustration. But I think we said the last time you were here, it's unbelievable how ideologies have changed. It's hard to believe that there are what they call self-identified as liberals are for censorship, are for military, sending military aid to Ukraine.
odd, isn't it?
It's quite odd from when I was.
Wasn't that like 20 years ago?
Not even 20 years ago.
And they want to send, even if it ruins our economy, they're worried about the border at the Ukraine, but not the border in Texas.
Yeah. I had seen on Twitter, somebody put up a video of Kiev. I still say it's Kiev, but Kiev, pristine streets, people walking up and down the street, and Philadelphia, which is people in a drug-induced zombie state. And, it's easy to say we got our priorities wrong. Because what's going on in Philly is replicated in many states around the country. San Francisco, Chicago.
So you might be leaning a little more to my solution to that problem.
Yes, let's switch chairs for a second.
When I said that we should just grease them.
Yeah, well, that's Kamala Harris. It seems her agenda.
This is the Great Reset, according to this German economist Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum.
Are you reading from this book?
Yes, this ESG is designed to revamp society and the economy and education and everything in America.
Mm-hmm.
Very dangerous.
Yeah.
The America we grew up in, mate.
anybody willing to take the time, look up the Communist Manifesto,
Yes.
and you'll see a lot of current playbook in there. You know, remove religion from the society.
Yep. Flowers and Pippin, or was it Curry and Ives? One of those. One of those two.
Indoctrinate children at a young age. You know. So I'm glad I'm over the hill. I've said that many times. You know?
But I'm on my way out. I'm on my way in.
Aye.
I don't have a lot left, but I feel bad, and I don't have children. I feel bad for my nieces and nephews.
Well, this is July
20th.
20th as we're recording. Did you see any of the House committee?
The Kabuki Theater.
Yeah.
I saw a woman of color Congress lady, and she just gave about a 4-minute diatribe of, and a lot of it was about, not about Biden, but it was about Trump, what Trump did.
He's responsible for everything.
If it's not Trump, it's climate change.
Yes.
And we discussed this before. It's not climate change. It's summer.
Yeah. Well, Ilhan Omar famously made a tweet for the day that it's we've broken 3 records of heat for the last 120,000 years.
Yeah, she knew that. And
Who was the weatherman back then?
18 cities had record-breaking temperatures, but 490 cities didn't.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
I don't know. I'm not a scientist, so I don't need a government grant to use my work. So I have my own opinions, but they're not educated. What can I tell you?
Forest fires are climate change, floods are climate change. Everything's serial killers are the climate. Everything's climate change.
Yeah. Or Trump.
Or Trump. They can't let him run. If he runs, he's gonna put tariffs on everything coming from China. He's gonna get rid of this deep state. In West Point, cadets are taken in not by their grades, but by their minority. If they're a minority, you think the Chinese army's doing that?
No.
You think they had the Chinese?
There aren't many minorities in China.
Do you think China has any men dressed up as women as admirals? And that makes our military strong.
I'm sure
because it's diverse.
I'm sure it makes the Chinese army shaking their boots. That's for sure. Yeah.
With our world, it's like if you brought back a man from the 40s, and put him alive today, he wouldn't believe this is going on.
No. You don't have to go back to the 40s. You just go back to the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you should read this book. It's not an easy read, but it's interesting. I've read about half of it.
You can't even pronounce his last name. So how easy a
Chaffetz?
read can it be?
What is it? Chaffetz?
Yeah.
What did I say?
I don't know what the hell you said.
Well, I have a learning disability.
That's all right.
You don't have to make fun of me.
No, I certainly wouldn't do that ever. You're a finer man there never was.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we have to clean this up. And if Trump does not get elected, I think we are absolutely doomed. He's the only guy that's going to face these globalists, these Zuckerbergs.
Why is he the only guy?
Well, because I don't know who else can do it. I don't look at if the governor of Florida, it's gonna take him 3 years to get through all the nuances that Trump had to go through. Trump had a tough time in the beginning because he was getting bad advice from Bryce Previous and the rest of the Democrats that the RNC sent him. Trump's already been through that.
Mm-hmm.
I think 4 years of Trump, and then what's his name? His name escapes me.
DeSantis?
DeSantis.
What about that other fella, Vivek?
He's a smart guy. I like him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Now his last name I don't know how to pronounce.
Ramaswamy or something?
Yeah, Ramaswamy.
He's a Swami.
And how do you feel about RFK Jr.?
You said a couple weeks ago that you thought his speech impediment was going to hurt. Did you know that he's an ex-heroin addict?
No, I didn't know that.
That's true.
Hmm. Well, the important part of that is X.
I know, but here, can you imagine that? And I imagine he got his heroin from good sources. I'm sure the family has got good heroin connections. But can you imagine somebody that stops at a 7-Eleven in inner city and buys a glassine envelope full of narcotics, cooks up in a Coke bottle, cop, and injects it in his bloodstream? That's pretty stupid. Do you want that guy to be president? That's a bad decision.
Well, he made a good decision to get off of it.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's an honest guy. It would hurt me to vote for a Democrat, and it would hurt me to vote for a Kennedy. And it would really yank me to vote for an ex-drug addict. There's no such thing as an ex-drug addict. They're drug addicts.
Yeah, I understand.
He's not using now.
It's like an alcoholic. It's not
That's
a
right.
recovering alcoholic. Yeah. Well, I just, and people, if you want to call it the deep state or whatever, are already painting him as a one-trick pony, with the whole vaccine thing. But you got to look beyond that. He has a lot of good policies.
I think he does. And now Joe Manchin said he's going to form a ticket with a Democrat as a vice president.
Yeah, you told me that before we started recording, but when Philly Manzi's on the podcast, we have to start at 6:30 in the morning. So I hadn't heard it yet.
Okay, and then that Professor Backwards, what's his name?
Professor Backwards, Cornell West.
Cornel West. I'm donating to his campaign because I want him to run. Because if it's just Trump, Professor Backwards, and Joe Biden, Trump will win. Though who's could actually go to a voting booth and pull a lever for Joe Biden? I mean, come on.
Joe Biden? Yeah.
He had notes the other day. He was talking to the president of Israel, Horowitz is his name,
Uh-huh.
and he's like this, and he falls asleep.
Mm.
It's not a good sign.
No, he's not a.
And another thing, I have to read off notes. Could we get what does the president have when he's giving a speech?
Teleprompter?
Can we get a teleprompter here? So I look like I'm doing this from memory instead of looking like this?
No, but you're not running for anything, are you?
No, the border.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, you'll have a lot of traffic incoming when you.
They say 17 million. I heard that there's 70 million illegal immigrants in this country. Though I saw a picture of a border guard removing the barbed wire, let immigrants in. A border guard.
I saw that too.
So does that mean they're here legally now?
I don't know.
They're not going to assimilate. We're going to be like Paris last week with cars burning. These people are not going to, in 10 years, 12 years, this is what America is going to look like Paris. These people aren't going to assimilate into our culture. They want their own culture. Then they're going to want independence.
All I can tell you is I see a lot of the illegal immigrants coming in. They're not all from South America.
No.
I don't know where the hell.
120 countries.
I'm saying there's a lot of, I don't know, they're going into South America to get into the border with Mexico, but
Chinese immigrants flying to.
there's probably very few Mexicans among them too.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Though every Mexican, I was in the concrete business, and every Mexican or South American guy that I ever worked with was a nice guy. They seem to have a nice disposition, a good sense of humor. They're hard workers and they're knowledgeable. I have to say that.
Were they legal or illegal?
I don't know. I mean, they weren't working for me. They're on a job, and there's a lot of laborers were South American guys, but they're good workers.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to be nice people.
They are nice people. Yeah.
I'm sure there's
the ones that I deal with.
I'm sure there's a lot of bad ones, but I cannot say that.
I met a couple of bad Irishmen too, in my time.
Is that right?
Yeah, once or twice. Yeah.
No, you were looking. My wife has a house cleaner. She's illegal. She's from Ecuador. Jesus, absolutely a nice lady.
Mhm.
Beautiful lady. Proficient. She's on time. She's just a nice person.
Yeah.
So I don't know why anybody would expect anything different. People's is people. There's a lot of Americans that I know that I don't particularly care for.
Right. Yeah. Everyone in the Democratic Party. Yeah.
that guy during that hearing yesterday, there was a guy he was one of the whistleblowers. He says, I'm a Democrat and I'm gay. So he's a queer Democrat. That's not necessary to say that, right?
He's trying to validate the fact that he's doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I said this before we started recording. I've said this 100 times in the past. I think one of the main reasons for the divisiveness in the political divisiveness in this country um, is putting cameras in the Congress and the Senate. Before we had cameras in Congress and the Senate, politics wasn't a national pastime like it is today. It's bigger than football politics.
You're right.
You know, people get their banners and they have their ideologies, and everyone else that doesn't agree with them suck on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, and the point is that none of these people that you see have anything to do with making any decisions. It's these deep state people, I believe.
Yeah. Well,
Kabuki theater.
I
They're
saw
just up
I
there.
saw a tweet somewhere a couple of days ago. Whoever's running the Biden administration is the worst president in our history.
I saw that.
That's pretty funny.
So I don't believe he's going to run. It's not possible.
Well, as I say, the calendar is against Trump, but it's even more against Biden. So
Okay.
I think I've said in a previous podcast with you, it's hard to believe that this nation can only produce those two guys to run for president.
Well, like I'm for Trump because I think he's got the best guy to put Hillary Clinton in jail after he gets elected. That's the only reason.
That'll make you happy.
It'll
Will
make
it?
me happy because that's where she belongs. She belongs in jail with rats because she started this. Trump concluded was with the Russians, and this Mueller report cost $30 million, and it was a complete total hoax. He did not have anything to do. He wasn't a Russian agent like.
That's 30 million we could have sent to Ukraine.
That's right, for their border.
For their border protection. Yeah. Well, I don't know what to tell you, Philly Manzi. I'll tell you.
Well, it could be worse. I think that Trump's not. If he does get the nomination, he's not going to get a fair election. There's too many people that don't want him elected,
Mhm.
and they'll do anything. Nancy Pelosi will eat her grandchildren to see that he gets defeated. There's not a thing they will not do.
Yeah. Have you seen this new movie? What is it? Sound of Freedom?
I haven't seen it. I've heard about it. Now, geez, it's just hard to believe that somebody's doing this. People are the CIA is bringing in children for sex
Well,
trafficking.
the new conspiracy theory out there. I'm not sure who the proponent of it is, but is that Epstein Island, Jeffrey Epstein, the whole 9 yards there, was a CIA front to get these rich, powerful people over there so they'd have something on them.
And then blackmail.
So they toe the line.
Not out of the realm.
It makes sense, but it's a conspiracy theory. So
The CIA got rid of President Kennedy. The CIA starts wars. That's their business. That's
Yes.
what they're there for. Correct?
yeah, I was gonna make a list for in preparation for this podcast, but it's so damn early in the morning that I didn't get to it. About all of the redundant agencies there are in the government. You know, like we have this CDC. Why do we need the NIH, right? How many different intelligence agencies there
There's
are?
47.
There's too many.
And why? And the CDC.
Eliminate them or roll them into one or something.
And the CDC is making laws. Where do they get the power? There's nobody in the CDC that's elected. How are they making laws?
Regulations?
Yes.
Yeah. Like OSHA, same way. OSHA.
You know, what is the Homeland Security? The thing where there's a flood. What is that organization called? FEMA.
Yeah.
Things were done much more efficiently 30, 40 years ago when churches and neighbors took care of people. It was done more efficient. You see a guy with FEMA pouring gas in a generator, there's 8 guys in Washington ordering gas cans. You know, the Department of Education that was started under Jimmy Carter. Test scores have been done. What is the Department of Education for? Department of Interior, Department of Energy. They asked the Secretary of Energy how many gallons of oil America uses. They should have known.
Mm.
Wouldn't you think that was one of the first things she would know?
Yep.
Not how much regular is in Cincinnati, but how much oil we use.
Mm-hmm. How much is regular in Cincinnati?
I don't know. Probably too much. It's probably $1.40 more than it was when Trump was in office.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. So early in the morning.
So I don't know if I ever said it. I think I told you this before. Every department should be cut 18% and fire about 15% of their employees.
But I don't understand why there's so many intelligence agencies.
I don't either. And all of them were wrong about Trump. So they're not very intelligent.
Yeah, well, they were wrong about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
That's
too.
right.
Iran.
We thought
Iraq.
we thought it was we thought it was it looked like Russia intervention.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. And then that was the story. The story was they had any proof of it, but the story was it looked like Russia interfered in the election.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they did it. They did a visual test. They didn't do the smell test.
I don't know where the government is way out of control. It's way too big. Everything's got to be cut, even the military. Everything has to be cut.
Mm-hmm.
Energy.
What are they going to do with that savings? Send it to Ukraine?
How about if they paid off the national debt? How about that?
Yeah, that's a radical it's a radical idea.
$51 trillion. And they say it's even more.
Yeah.
That's a lie. And $1 trillion is more than you and I can even understand.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Certainly more than I can pay.
And they just keep printing. You know, nothing causes inflation. It's not big oil. It's not big insurance companies. It's not big pharma. It's printing money. And Biden is going to spend 500 or 600 billion dollars on this reducing the college debt.
Yeah.
It's not going to remove college debt. It's going to change college debt from somebody who went to college to you and I. Not eliminating it,
Mm-hmm.
transferring it.
Yeah.
I'm against that.
It's kind of like the free vaccinations.
Yeah.
We're paying for it now.
Yeah.
Buy a house, you'll see how free that vaccination was.
The housing market.
Or take out a loan and see how free that vaccination was.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or fill up your tank and see how free that vaccination was.
What gas is $4.80, $4.90 now?
$3.50.
$3.50?
Yeah. In this area, anyway. $3.56.
I always buy gas from the same gas station because I don't want to get a half a tank of water.
Yeah. I don't drive much, so
Well, how do you take a bus from your house to here?
I get the early bus. Yeah.
And you think this is early? I get up at 5:30.
Yeah.
4:30 sometimes.
I got up at 5:30 this morning.
Yeah.
5:45, I was right back in bed.
Well, Thomas, I don't know. This is a serious problem, and I don't see anything changing real soon.
Yeah, we're all looking for a savior. And I'd like to have a savior that was born on this side of the Eisenhower administration. Would be good.
I think you're right. But so that Rafsanjani or
Sounds
Ramaswamy,
ageist to me, but I'm an old guy, so I can say it. What?
the Indian guy, Ramaswamy, could you vote for him?
I have to look deeper into his policies. I just the breadth of what I know of him is what I saw of him when Tucker Carlson interviewed him.
If he gets the nomination, I'll vote for him.
So that's really all I know about him. I have to look deeper into his policies.
He wants to pass a law that any voter between 18 and 24 has to pass a civics test. But I think that should be good for anybody that votes.
What do you think about compulsory service,
I think it's
whether it's
mandatory,
military or other?
has to be. Working a veterans hospital. There's a lady that works at the veterans hospital. She's been a volunteer there for 34 years.
Beautiful.
Work in a hospital, work in an old age home, work in a VA hospital, pick up litter along the highway, do something for 3 years. What's wrong with that? I served. I don't know, most people, it's the most honorable thing I did in my life, and I don't see why it can't be mandatory.
Mhm. Compulsory, yeah. The selective service doesn't include women yet. That you have to sign up for when you turn 18. It's for men only.
But it's all voluntary.
No, but when you turn 18, supposed to have to sign up for the selective service. But it's only for men. I never understood that. There's women in, what is it, 30% now, women in the military?
I don't know, but I heard that 20% of the women in the Navy at any given time are on maternity leave.
Hmm.
And
That means the patrols aren't long enough.
you're too young for Vietnam, right?
Yes, I
Way
was.
too young, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Vietnam, well, the draft ended, I think I was about 12 years old or something like that, 11.
I don't see what's wrong with that. We live in a great country. People, it should be mandatory that you serve.
Now that I'm way beyond those years, I'm all for it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the spirit.
Hmm. So what else is gnawing at you? Anything else? We're here to get things off your chest.
Well, this state in this Kabuki theater yesterday about I mean, they had 20. The Bidens had 20 shell companies. Their granddaughter was getting a check. Come on, they had no companies, no business, no anything. And he says, I'm sitting here with my dad. We don't get the money pretty soon. You're going to be in deep shit. 2 days later, he gets a check for $8 million or something.
Well, 10% for the big guy. 10% for the big guy.
What did I get about the big guy? I got something. Oh,
Don't tell me you prepared yourself for this podcast.
obviously not. But
We don't tolerate that here.
it was Hunter Biden holding a great big bag of Coke, and it said, "Oh, buy now and get 10% off from the big guy." It was not my pill, it was my kilo.
Well, I appreciate you coming by at 4:30 in the morning, Phil Manzi.
I got 4:30 to go to work every day, so I still wake up at 4:30.
Actually, I can't get away with that lie because the sun is
Right.
apparently up in the sky.
Yeah, I don't know why you want to lie about it anyway, but you're not a morning guy.
No,
Wall Street had to be at work at 9 o'clock, right?
technically, yeah.
I had to be at work a lot of times 7 o'clock. So I had to leave here at 4:30.
But you left at 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Sometimes 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, me too. If I went out to eat after.
A lot of times I was done. I worked just pull up, and then 11, sometimes 11:30, 12 o'clock we were done.
Yeah,
With the day's pay, that was a bonus.
yeah.
But when you work for the mob, they take care of you.
Oh, yeah. It's all about the industry you're in, you know.
They always treated me nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, Phil Manzi, I hope the worm turns soon. You know, when things are good, we have to appreciate it.
You're right. I hope a Republican gets elected. I hope it's Trump, but
I really don't care what the hell party's in at this point.
What party?
I don't care what party they're in, to be honest with you.
Well, I hope it's a Republican, and I hope if it's not Trump, I hope it's some other Republican.
I don't want you to get alarmed, but I've heard rumors that Mitt Romney might leave the Republican Party.
Oh God, I won't vote for him. So let me take that back. I won't vote for him. Would you?
I don't vote by party anymore. Not for 30 years.
Well,
I haven't been a member of a political party in 30 years.
Can I ask you when was the last time you voted for a Democrat?
Probably Pat Moynihan.
I mean presidential.
Oh, I don't think that has yet to be. But if RFK somehow wins the nomination, I would seriously consider it.
Democrats are socialists, socialists are communists, communists are Marxists. Only difference is the timeline between a Marxist and a socialist is the timeline when they're gonna.
Yeah.
You're gonna see you're gonna see people in the next 10 years in this country beyond they're gonna get paid for staying home.
If you and I agree that there's been a concerted effort to indoctrinize America's youth over the last 20 years,
Of course.
I think we do. I would hope a percentage of them think about what they've been taught and maybe challenge what they've been taught.
It's easier to brainwash somebody than to make somebody believe they were brainwashed. Karl Marx says, give me your child at the right age and I will own him forever.
Well, let's hope enough of them question what they've been taught.
You can't. I know people that went to college. I knew them before they went to college, and when they got out, and I knew they were brainwashed. And you cannot tell them they were brainwashed. You know, after North Korea's had American prisoners for 3 or 4 years, they didn't say, "Oh yeah, I was brainwashed."
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody believes they were brainwashed. That's the beauty of being brainwashed.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
Well, let's hope the worm turns.
Let's
Historically, it always does.
hope so. Maybe the country will come to its senses.
Because today's radical liberal is tomorrow's husband with a wife and 3 kids. And that changes perspectives sometimes.
Or if you get mugged.
Yeah, that too, yeah. So.
If the revolution starts, maybe people will change.
Well, until next time, we'll start a little later. We'll start around 7 a.m. next time.
Okay.
Yeah. And God bless you for coming by.
Thank you, sir.
You look good. I'm glad you're feeling well.
I feel my doctor yesterday, he said, Felice, for 77, he said you're in good shape. I take
You said, Doc, I'm only 60.
I take 2 medications. I take allopurinol and I take my blood pressure was 129 over 80.
I'm sure it's higher now after this podcast.
Probably.
Yeah.
You're a carrier for high blood pressure.
No, but you know, I always say if your blood pressure gets a little too low,
Come here, meet you.
go on Twitter for 10 minutes. You'll be right back to normal.
I don't know what Twitter is. I've never been on Twitter. I don't know what it is. I go on.
It's a cesspool.
Is it?
Yeah, disguised as a social media site.
And you tell people what you're doing during the day?
I don't tell people. No, I have never posted on.
Well, who cares what somebody went and got pizza? They went and bought shoes. I mean,
that's where the conspiracy theories are born.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's like digging up radishes, you know, you get to see them firsthand.
I don't know anything about it. I've never been on it. I've never seen it.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, stay away.
Stay away?
I don't recommend it.
Okay. I don't like to go. I get a lot of emails and I tell people to leave me alone. I don't know where they get my email address to send me all kinds of shit. I don't know. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
You buy something, they got you forever.
Yeah. Yep. That's for sure. All right, Philly, thank you so much for coming by. We certainly appreciate it.
Okay, I don't think we're.
I know it's not easy for you getting up here to Millbrook from, where do you live in? Mississippi, right?
Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Okay.
I was in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Yeah, I know. You previous podcast, you told us the whole story.
What beautiful town.
And you met Gene Hackman down there.
He played me in a movie. After the podcast, I got a joke to tell you.
After the podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll sign off, and thanks again for stopping by, and hopefully we'll see you sometime in the short near future.
My pleasure, mate.
All right, lad.